Hello there. We are live, and I'm not totally prepared as usual, but I'm almost there. Okay. All right. So, hi guys. Today we're going to do a 3-wrap beaded bracelet. They're kind of fun. They're pretty simple to do as long as you've got all the stuff. And I'll walk you through everything that I'm using on mine. I know that there's lots of wrap bracelets out there. I don't know if there's one exactly like this or not. This kind of, I guess, is a mixture of several different styles that I've seen. So I'm going to claim that it's mine, but there could be something very similar out there. So anyway, I'm going to bring the camera down. I've kind of been doing this in stages, so that we can get through the whole thing. But it would be kind of a lengthy demo if I did it from start to finish, and there would be a lot of boring spots in there. So I tried to work it up so that I have it in stages prepared for you, and we can walk through that. So let's see here. I'm just coordinating my laptop with this. Hi Jan, hi Tammy, hi Mary, hi Wendy. All right. So let me bring the camera down here and I will show you what I'm talking about. And hopefully we'll have a good broadcast where it won't be patches of that real fuzzy stuff, so the pixelating. There are 3 different ways that I did this. I've got the beads, these beads right here, they look like they were red in my picture on the post, but they're actually like a coppery, bronzy glass pearl. And then the other ones are like a light green. It's a pretty shade of green right here. So I just have the two colors. I have them in, and I have a buttload of them. They come like this. I had to get like a ton of them to get them. So I'm just going to work with these 2 different color combinations, and they come on a strand, and they're dyed. You know, they're not like, of course they're not real pearls, and they're not Swarovski pearls. They're probably Czech glass pearls, and they have like a coating over them. They're not the best quality in the world. Swarovskis were really nice, but we can't get those anymore. So these are okay. These are not bad. Okay, so those are the 2 colors of the pearls that we're working. So I did one that's got all the copper pearls in there with some blue accent, and then a solid green pearl. And then I mixed this one up with the green and the copper. So there's 3 different ways we can go with that. And you can put lots of different seed beads, little different things that you might have in your stashes somewhere. I'm going to offer kits on these, and there'll be these 3 choices, but I'll have a nice mix of different types of beads in there. But you can certainly do this on your own if you like, without getting a kit, if you want. So this is how they work. They're long. They're about, well, let's see here. They're about 24 inches long, like this. And these have the little ball and socket or trailer hitch. There are different names for this kind of clasp. They're pretty easy to do. And you just wrap this around your wrist 3 times. Or if you wanted to go longer, you could do that and make it a bigger bracelet. And let's see here. You're supposed to be able to do these by yourself, and you can. Just have to get it in the right orientation. And that little clasp just snaps in like that. So then you have the bracelet like this. So I'm saying about 24 inches like this fits my my wrist. It's about a 7.5 inch wrist. But you could make it different sizes if you wanted to. If you have a really skinny wrist, you might want to make it a little bit shorter, or you could wrap it 4 times around. So that's how these are. They're pretty fun. And if you wanted to, you could actually make this a necklace if you wanted to, just make it longer. And I think that, well, I'll just leave this one on and I'll take one of the other ones. Let's see here. You could take one of the other ones and make it a necklace. But for myself, I would go longer. But you could do that as well with just a single wrap. And depending on what you have on, I mean, it can be kind of pretty, you know, and you could make it different lengths if you wanted to do that. So that's how that is. All right, so hello, Marianne. Hi, Dawn. Okay, where am I at here? Okay, so I'm gonna take that off. So anyway, that's the idea of these bracelets. They're just kind of fun and very colorful. All right, so for this, I'm going to set these aside. For this, I am going to use 2 different threading materials. I'm going to use some Flex-Rite. There's all different brands of beading wire, and you can use either Flex-Rite or Beaded. There's a whole different bunch of brands, and they come in different strands. So you could either use a 21 strand or a 49 strand. They come all different ways. Let me see here. And they also come in different colors, but that doesn't really make any difference because for this particular thing, the beading wire is going to be covered up. So I have both of these. There's 21 strand or 49 strand. Either one works. Okay, so what I'm going to do is cut about, I'm getting all tangled up with thread. Oh, and then you need this for your first part of the bracelet, and then you're going to need some fire line for the second part. And I generally use 6-pound smoke color for just about everything with the beading projects. I just like the color, and the weight is a good weight, 6 pound. It is actually fishing line, but it's a thread, so it's not like the nylon fishing line that you can get at Walmart and stuff. You can get these also at Walmart, but I would look for the smoke and the 6-pound weight. The other stuff, Dawn, it's like Softlex. Yeah, there's just different brands and different price points. And I've been kind of happy with Flex-Rite. It's put out by the Beadsmith, and it's pretty affordable. So I've just been using this. It works well. So, but that's totally whatever you want to use. But it is beading wire. Hey, Bonnie. I miss you. You better come home soon. Okay. Bonnie's in Florida. She lives up this way, but she's in Florida right now. Oh, she's one of my beading buddies that we get together on Fridays, and I've been missing her. Okay, so we need that. We need a number 12 needle, beading needle. Bead stoppers are pretty necessary for this. You can use some Scotch tape. I can show you how you can use that, but the little bead stoppers are really a good thing. You need a pair of scissors, and I don't know. I think that's all you really need. And then an assortment of beads, which I have down here. So I made little piles of the different beads that I want to use in this project. These pearls, because they were on a strand, I think they're dyed after they're strung. I would imagine that's how they do it, because I don't know how you would be able to hold on to all that stuff. But there's a little bit of extra, whatever it is. I don't know if it's paint or what it is, but there's a little bit of that excess on the ends. So they're not as clean as, say, a Swarovski glass pearl would be, but they're still very usable. So I just pulled some of those off. And what I'm going to do is get my beading wire, and I'm going to measure out about 30 inches. And I'm going to snip that off and put that aside, because all these threads and wires and stuff can get tangled up real fast. All right. So to start this off, I'm going to put a bead stopper on one end. I'm going to leave like maybe a 3-inch tail. That doesn't matter so much at this point. Okay, and I'm going to try to bring this down so that you can see what I'm doing a little bit better. And what I'm going to do is make a pattern. You can actually do whatever you want to do with it, but that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just pick up my beads with the beading wire. You don't use a needle for this part. And let's see here. I think what I'll do is start with, I've got a combination of, excuse me, size 8/0 beads. There's a couple different ones of that. And then I've got some 6/0 Picasso 3 cuts in there. And then I have these little sparkly things. I forgot the name of these. Let me see if I've got them here. They are called micro spacers from the Beadsmith. So I'm just going to use a little variety of beads and just pick up a few things and make a little pattern. So these are, the 8s and the 6s that I'm using here. I've also got little, I think they're 3mm cubes, Miyuki cubes, I think. And then I'm going to be using, for part of the fringe around the flower, I'm going to be using 11/0s on that side. Okay. My hand right here, torch, Dawn. I didn't even know I did it, believe it or not. Um, but little sparks or little chips of glass sometimes kind of fly off when you're first heating them up, and they land on you sometimes. It's just part of the process. It all comes with the territory. So I just put a few beads on here because I want a pearl pretty close to each end. So I'm going to thread one of those on. And I'd like to have a size 8 bead on either side of the pearl. And I'll explain that to you as I move along. But that's what I'm putting right there. And then I just kind of stay consistent with the pattern that I pick. Let's see here. But you can make it however you want to make it yours. And if you're putting your own together, you can just use a variety of things that you already have. If you get a kit, you'll get a kit for me, you'll get a variety of these things and enough stuff to make a bracelet. So let's see here. And I like to leave, let's see, I'm just going to have that for reference. One of the pieces that I was working on earlier, which we'll move on to that in just a little bit, because it would be very boring to watch me string this whole wire in front of you. I think you'd get bored. All right, let's see here. Yeah, I imagine, Dawn, by the time I'm done with all these hearts that I'm doing, I'll have a few battle scars. It's just part of the process of working with glass. Let's see here. So I'd say that I probably have an inch, maybe an inch and a half. That doesn't really matter so much, but just for curiosity. Yeah, I've got about an inch and a half between pearls. So let's see here. But this is kind of a fun thing to do. This is another thing that I like to do, like in the evenings when I'm watching TV and relaxing. And I can just put this on a tray on my lap and sit in my comfortable chair and do something different than working in the studio and working with all the tools or the glass or the metal. It's just kind of fun, in my opinion, to mix things up a little bit. So hopefully you get the idea of what I'm doing here. I'm just going to do a couple of things, a couple of sections, and then we'll move on to the next part. This is easy to work with, a 30-inch length of bead wire compared to the fire line that I'm going to be working with after this part. That is a little bit more easy to get tangled up. It'd probably be smartest to have this set up, all your little beads set up, how you're going to use them, in which order you're going to use them, so you can just go right in a row from bead to bead to bead. That's what I would suggest anyway, is to get that set up and organized like that, and it'll make it go a lot easier. Oh, you just got your hearts? Great. Thanks, Dawn. I'm glad you like them. Yeah, they're a lot of fun. I'm having a lot of fun doing these. Okay, so I think, okay, we've got to just do another pearl here. Okay. Where'd it go? Oh, it's there it is. All right, so you get the idea. It's just getting the beads strung on in a pattern that you like. It doesn't have to be rocket science. You know, you can just put a bunch of pretty colors together. Just keep going along with a pattern like that. All right, so when you get to the end of the wire, well, you're not going to use the entire one. You're going to measure, because here is, you have to leave a little bit of wire for the ends to put the clasp on. So here's one that I've already strung the entire thing, and this measures 23 inches. So I've got 23 inches of beads on this wire. Okay, so I've got my bead stopper here, and I've got all of my beads put on. And what the next step will be is, you know, you'd put a bead stopper on each end so you don't lose your beads. And then you're going to measure out your fire line. And what I normally do is I'm going to say that I need about 2.5 yards of fire line for adding the little fringe around the copper beads. So how I measure it, I just do what I call wingspan. And I'll take my roll and my wire, and I just stretch my arms out as far as they go. I know you can't see it. And I'll do 2 lengths like that, and a half one. So that's my measurement. So, or you can measure on a yardstick too if you wanted to do that. So I've got all this beading thread, which in the beginning you'll probably have fits with it. It's inevitable that you might get tangled up. One of the nice things about Fireline is when you thread the needle, if you have a difficult time, don't you love my glasses? If you have a difficult time threading your needle, what you can do with the Fireline is take a pair of pliers, like a chain nose or flat nose, and just give the little tip of the end of the beading thread, just flatten it out a teeny bit. Where's the hole? Okay, and then just it'll pass through the eye of the needle fairly easily. All right, so you've got all this length. What you need to do is put one end, all this length, you want to leave about an 8-inch tail, and then I'm going to put that thread alongside the wire, the beading wire. I'm just going to clamp that together. And put my little spring on there, right at the end of the strand. I actually have a third strand on here, which wouldn't normally be on here, but I was trying to get the steps done a little bit quicker, so I had to put another string on, because on this half of this wire I already did some of the fringe on here, so that extra thread is from that. But normally it wouldn't be like that. Hey, Deb. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to get my needle back here. It's a size 12 beading needle. Now, in the beginning of doing this, you may get tangled up on the excess string, not the string, but on the bead stopper. You might get your threads tangled up in that. That is just part of the process. And we're going to be using size 11s seed beads for this. So I'm just going to pour some of those out. And what I'll do is put my needle in right on the first bead and go through right before the pearl. Okay. When you're putting your needle through the beads, through multiple beads, you want to make sure that you are getting your needle through the beads and not skipping, you know. So you'll have to keep an eye that you're where you want to be here. I'm going to confuse myself right off the bat. I pulled it all the way out. Oh, and take anything that you could possibly get your thread caught on, take it out of your path, because inevitably your thread will get hung up on it. It just happens. Okay, so I'm under this pearl. I'm up to the pearl, I should say, and I'm going to load 6 of the 11 O's on my needle. You see how the strand is coming out on the bottom of the pearl, and I'm going to insert the needle in the top hole of the pearl and come out at the bottom of the pearl, and then pull my thread. Okay, so I have half of a fringe there. And then I'm going to go back to this, back up the center. No, I'm sorry. I'm going to go back into the 6 seed beads here. You have all this extra length on the thread, but believe me, you're going to use it up pretty quick. And I'll show you how that happens in just a minute. So I'm actually reinforcing these 6 seed beads by going through them twice. Okay. Now I need to go on the other side. And I will, well, actually what I'm going to do is put the needle through the pearl again. So then the thread will be coming out of the bottom of the pearl. And then we're going to put the 6 on the opposite side of the pearl. So here's, that's 7, so we want 6. And then I'm taking that needle back up here and going through the top of the pearl down to the bottom. Okay. Ah, sorry, I did it the wrong way. Try that again. And I want to go back up the beads, not up the pearl. So I'm grabbing all 6 of those. So basically you want to just keep 2 strands. You want to go through it twice to reinforce. All right, turn this back around here. All these threads. And I'm going to go back up one side. Once I get away from this bead stopper, it'll be a lot easier to show you. The joys of long, excessively long strings. Okay. All right. I had only grabbed 3 of those beads, so I'm going through the other 3. I got my tail caught in there. Okay. Okay, so now I'm back at the top, and then I'm going to go through this 8/0 bead, and I'm going to go through actually all of the beads till I get to the next pearl. This is where you have to be sure that you're getting your needle through the center of the beads, and you're not, and that the needle's not showing, you know, anywhere else. It's not sticking out, that you've grabbed all the beads. So this is where a lot of the thread gets used up, is in between the pearls. And as we go up a few, then the string or the thread becomes more manageable. Yeah, you have to be careful to not get knots, and if you do, you need to address that right away and not pull real tightly, because generally I can work out the knot real easy. All right, so I'm at the bottom of the next pearl, and I'm going to add my 6 beads again, my 6 11-0s. And then put the needle on the top of the pearl, go through the pearl, come out the bottom, and that's where these pearls not being so clean on the ends can be a little bit of a problem, but you know, I mean, they're workable. You just have to be a little bit of patient, you know, be a little bit patient with them. And go back up this row. Get all 6 to reinforce that. Okay. I'm losing my pearls here. They're flying all over. Okay. Go through the pearl again. Add my 6 for the other side. Make sure I have 6 and not 7. And then go through the top of the pearl, down through the bottom. And then go through. Going to go back up the other side just to get to the place where I need to be to move up further. All right, and then I'm going to go under that 8-0 and all the way up. Make sure that my needle is through the center of the beads and not sticking out somewhere. Get my finger out of there. That's my doorbell, my Ring doorbell, that little celestial sound. People are coming and going. All right. So we've got 2 sections, 2 of the little flowers right there. Or not flowers, but whatever you want to call them. Let me check for messages here. Yep, Deb, I've already lost my mind. All right. So I'll do, well, you would continue doing that all the way up. Let me do another one or two, and then I'll start on the other side and show you how we finish it up. But let's see here. Do you have any questions on this? It's pretty straightforward, really. It's just a matter of, you know, following a pattern that you want and putting these little beads. I think they dress it up. These little beads on the sides. You could do it without putting these on there if you wanted to. But if you do that, then you definitely need to have the thread. But I've seen plenty of wraps that don't have this little fringe on the side, but it's just a different design choice, that's all. But I think it makes it look cute. So this is something, you know, that you can follow along with the, you know, if you guys decide to do a kit or do stuff on your own, you can always play this back and go through the steps. But connecting the wire to the thread, we're going to be using a crimp tube and a crimp cover and that little ball and socket clasp. But you could put any kind of clasp on here that you wanted if you don't care for these. Anything that is, you know, a one-hole clasp you can use. I've been very busy making those little heart cabochons for the Ukraine fundraiser that I'm doing, and I've only got 5 of that particular heart shape mandrels, and so that means I can only do 5 beads in a batch. So I have to run the kiln for at least 6 hours after the beads are, or the cabochons are in the kiln, so it cools down enough so that I can open it up and do another 5. So I can do 2 batches a day. Oh, I went the wrong way with this. Don't want to do that. See, I can't talk and chew gum. Anyway, so I have to do 2 different batches to get these done. I've got like over 70 ordered, and I never expected to get that many orders, which is fine. I'm grateful, but it's kind of a challenge when you've only got 5 to work with. If I had 10 or 15 mandrels, it would make it a whole lot easier, but I don't really want to buy more mandrels because once this project is done, I don't have a need for that many. And maybe I'm being foolish, I don't know, but it just seems like maybe after a week or so of working fairly intensively on these, then it'll lighten up and I can just do hearts as needed. Yeah, I'll probably hate them by the time I'm done with doing them all, Deb. Let me show you. This is what I've got so far. I don't know if you can see. Can you see the angle that I'm at? Yeah. That's what I've got done so far. There's 5 more in the kiln. So I'm not even halfway to what's needed. But I'm staying on top of it and trying to use my time wisely so I can get those 2 loads a day. Plus, you know, you have to clean them up and clean the mandrels and put bead release on the mandrels, and they have to dry. So it's not like I can just open it up, pop off the 5 cabs, and pop in 5 more. It's a little bit more time consuming than that. But so far, it's been working out okay. I'm not an early riser because I stay up so late, which is my own fault. But I am just that way. I'm kind of a night owl, and if I could make myself get up a little bit earlier in the morning, I might be able to get a little bit more done. But the evening is my relaxed time, so I kind of need to chill out. And yesterday was a horrendous day because I decided to make spaghetti sauce too, as some of you've seen on the post. But I only do that a couple times a year, really, maybe 3 at the most, because I tend to make a lot. I mean, I've got enough. What I made yesterday is enough for 14 meals, so that'll take me quite a ways. Okay. Now I'm starting to get tangled here. That's actually pretty good to just not have gotten tangled to this point. Just keep an eye on what I'm doing here. And just go back up here. I think I just did the wrong way. That wouldn't be the first time. No, actually I did all right. All right, come back up here to the top. All right. So I actually don't have that many more to do because I had already done a section up here. But I think it would be too long and boring for you guys to watch. All right, let's see here. Okay. All right, so I'm going to stop on that part, and then I'm going to show you how I put it all together once I get untangled here. Oh, God. What a freaking mess. I kept it all together until now. But that was because I was trying to show you the whole process without taking a couple of hours. All right, so say that this is all done. We're up here and we're done with this part. So we need to put our clasp end on this end. So for that, I'm going to use, where are my crimp tubes? You need a pair of crimp pliers. The crimp tubes are in a little box. Here they are. It does not matter what color crimp tube you put on here, because there's going to be a crimp cover covering it. So I'm going to, let's just pick out a gold one. I have to refresh my memory on this too, guys, because I haven't done this completed one in a while. And I have to think about what I'm doing here. So I'm going to put the thread. I could be doing this wrong, but I'm trying to remember. The thread and the bead wire through here. And then one end of my clasp, excuse me, what we want to do is with this bead thread is we want to, once we get the clasp in place and the crimp tube, then I want to go through a bunch of these beads to make sure that that thread stays put. I mean, it doesn't break, it reinforces it. And let me see here. Maybe I'm not supposed to put that through the crimp tube, the thread. No, I don't believe I am. Where's my needle? Needle, where'd you go? All right. Let's do, just bear with me a minute, guys. I think what I want to do right off the bat is take my beading thread. I think there's a couple different ways you could go with this if you wanted to. All right, get my, where's my smasher here? That really works well to flatten that thread. See how easy that was? So what I'm going to do is, I've got my thread coming out of the crimp tube, and I'm going to bring it back down into these beads right here for right now. So I'm just going to backtrack a little bit here just to bury my thread, and then I can pick that up later. All right, so I've got the thread going through the crimp tube and back into the beads. Then I'm going to put my clasp on, the half of the clasp. And then take my crimp pliers. And if you're not familiar with crimping a bead, the crimp pliers have two little spots on them here, little indents, and you go in the further back one first. You go in this hole here, in this part of the jaw here. There's like a little dip in there. This is where you want to make your first move, and then you move on to the front one. So I'm going to lay that into that little channel there and give it a squeeze. And now it's got this dip in it, and I'm going to take it and turn this on its side and then go into the top hole and smush a little bit more. And then this very end right here, this very flat space right here at the top, then I just give it an extra little press right there with that. And then when we're all done, then I'm going to take one of the crimp covers and I'm going to put that on with the bead pliers, with the crimping pliers actually. And I don't know if I can get through. No, I'm not gonna. I'll cut off this beading wire right here. There, get rid of that little excess right there. And then the crimp covers are really, they're such an odd little shape that it's very easy to drop them as you're trying to apply them on here, but they fit over the crimp bead. And I want to make sure that it goes in the whole crimp cover to cover that crimp bead up all the way and not be cockeyed. Let's try that again. I don't know that you can see with my fingers and my hands in the way. But basically I'm just trying to put that little crimp tube inside the crimp cover. I feel like I'm all thumbs. But, you know, you don't have to use a crimp cover if you don't want to, but I think they finish off the piece a little bit nicer. And then I'm going to take the round part at the top here and just put the crimp cover in that and give that a little press. And kind of turn the tool around a little bit to make sure that you get all the whole thing rounded. And closed up. That looks a little bit nicer than just a flattened crimp bead. So then I would proceed with my tail of the thread and go down a bunch more beads just to bury it in there, but also to give the bracelet a little bit more strength, because now these sections here will have two threads, and you know, the side fringes already have two threads, but this gives the bracelet a little more strength. You just make sure that you're not skipping over beads and potentially have string showing. You don't want that to show. And you don't have to do the entire bracelet like this, but I kind of like to, like I said, just to give it a little bit more oomph. And then we'd get down to the other end and repeat the same thing as far as closing that up. You guys have any questions about this? I'm going to look up in just a minute. All right. So, I think, let's see here. Oh, thanks, Deb. Yeah, you know, the yellow is kind of a strange color, and I ordered lemon yellow, and lemon or yellow comes in lots of different colors and shades and stuff, but the company that I'm buying my stuff from, they've got the lemon yellow and then light lemon yellow. So I ordered some of each, and I wasn't really sure which yellow I was going to go for, and I kind of liked the light lemon initially, and I still do, but I kind of like the dark or the regular lemon too. So I think when I run out of the light lemon, which is going to be pretty soon, I will go to just the regular lemon, and I think it'll be fine. Either way, I'll show you, as long as I'm talking about it, the difference between the lemon and the light lemon, which is right here. This is the light lemon, and this is lemon right here. And I think, and you guys tell me what you think, I like them either way. So what do you guys think? If you can get the colors, you know, everybody's monitor is different too, so, or screen or whatever. So there's not that much difference in them. This is just a little bit darker. So light. Well, some of you are gonna get dark. No, I'll do the best I can with them, but yeah. Okay. All right. So, that's pretty much it on the wrap bracelet. I can't finish this because it would take too long, because I've got to do all the fringes yet. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fringes yet that I would have to do. And basically, it's the same thing I've just been doing over and over again. And you saw the part where I put the clasp on. So the one half, but I mean, the other half is the same way. So, you know, if you decide to do it, you can follow along and just stop it. And and that's a wrap. Thanks, Marianne. I wouldn't have thought of that. That's clever. Very clever. The pearls, I believe, are 8 millimeters. Oh no, they might be 6 millimeters. They're 6 millimeters. Beverly. Yeah, I'll go with 6 millimeters on that. So I was saying this at 24, no, it's 23 inches. This particular one that I've got done is 23 inches. It fits my wrist. I'm a little bit bigger than average, but my wrist size actually is about a 7.5. So you'd have to think, you know, adjust it accordingly, you know, to your wrist. And what I would do, you know, how to do that, I would say still cut your string or your wire, basically what I'm telling you, that I did. And then as you're moving along with it, wrap it around your wrist and see how it's coming, because you want to end up in a place where your wraps fit all the way around your wrist and your clasp meets. Not so, if this was another 3 inches or so, it might be hanging because it wouldn't fit on me quite right. So my best gauge is to pick the stuff up while you're working with it and wrap it around and see about where you're at. There's just a little bit of guesstimating with this kind of stuff. I wish I could give you precise measurements, but I don't really know. I mean, everybody's going to be a little bit different, I would imagine. So I guess we're going to end up early here today, but I wanted to present this. I've had it for a while, and stuff kept coming up, and I thought, well, I'll just do it today. But I want to show you next week's project. I'm really excited about this. I think I mentioned, I'm sure I mentioned last week, that I ran into Kim St. Jean in Tucson last month, and I had asked her about doing some of her projects from her books, and she was very very receptive to it. She thought it was just a fine idea, and I've picked out. I've got two of her books. I think she has three. I'm not positive, but I've got two of her books. And she said, go ahead and use any of the projects that I could actually copy. Like copy the actual printed pages from the book, because I guess the publishing company is defunct. So as long as I have the author's permission, which I do, there's no problem that I can't just copy those book pages and send those as your instructions. But if you can get a hold of her books, they're very nice. They're out of print, like I said, but you might be able to still find them. I know Marianne was able to find them on Amazon, but I think it was from a third-party seller or something like that. And she got them quite reasonably, so you might be able to. If you can't, then I would say, whatever projects I pick, I will print those instructions, and then you can, also print them and keep them, to make the projects. So, yeah, she has some fun projects. So, what I'm going to do next week is I'm going to start with her orbit earrings. Oh. Sorry, I get hot pipes when I'm talking a while. So I'm going to do the orbit earrings. I made these in copper, excuse me, just to try it out. I generally do that before I work with silver, but I think they're great fun. They're just really fun. See that? So next week I'm going to be doing them in silver for the demo, because I want a pair of silver for myself. But I was very pleased. Kim St. Jean, yes, yeah, she's got a great amount of fun projects. So we will we will work through her books somewhat, in between other projects, and and go from there. But other than that, I'm running out of stuff to present to you guys. So I guess I'll leave it at that. So I'm still working on the Ukraine hearts. that's probably going to take me another full week to get done with those. So if you've ordered them, please be patient. I'll get them out to you as soon as I can. I've kept a list of everybody who's ordered, and they will be sent, you know, in the order they were received. So I'll try to be timely with everybody. If you of egg beaters, yeah, they kind of do. I didn't think about that, Dawn. They kind of do look like little wire whisk kind of things. If you want a kit for these this bracelet that I'm doing, let me know. And if you have ordered the Ukraine hearts, I can package them together. However, I don't know how much supplies I have for the bracelets, so that could hold up the heart a little bit. I'm not sure. But I'm going to say the kits are going to be $20. Shipping is always $4 if you're in the US. Canada is $14.50, and I'm sorry about that, but that's what it is. But I'm happy to ship it there, but you just have to understand shipping is going to be more. And if I can ship them together, I will. And you just have to let me know which one you want. What I'll do is I'll post a picture of the 3 choices. You tell me which of the 3 you want, and then I'll put kits together for that. But I may have to do some ordering depending on how many kits are wanted. I mean, I have enough right here to do several, but it just depends on how many are wanted. So, you know, I don't like to hold stuff up. If I'm going to get something to you, I want to get it to you as soon as possible, because I kind of like that. You know, when I order something, I like to get it as soon as I can. But it's not always possible, especially when you're ordering stuff from other places, because you're kind of dependent on that before you can, you know, move your stuff along. So I'll post that in the group after we're done with here. Chef takeout? Yeah, we're having leftover takeout tonight. So we had our spaghetti yesterday, but we had Mexican the night before, and I've got leftovers from that. So I'm actually looking forward to that. All right, guys, thanks for being with me. I always enjoy your presence here. And I'll post in just a little bit with the other information. So, and the handout for today. So that I have. All right, and then next week it's Kim St. Jean. So, all right, guys, take care. Bye-bye.